Look, ultimately, all employees contribute to an organization's overall revenue, right? When any team is short-staffed, customer service usually suffers, which has an impact on customer satisfaction and other key performance metrics as well. So this is a metric that if you tie it to the time to hire, can be extremely important to understand what it could potentially be costing your company. Pretty alarming when you see it, but we figured we'd start with this because this is an extremely important metric we think is valuable for most organizations to have an understanding of. So 3 easy steps. Step number 1, take your annual revenue, you divide that by the number of employees, and then you'll get your average employee revenue. Step number 2, take your average employee revenue and you divide that by 261 working days and you get your daily average employee revenue. Then step number 3, you take your daily average employee revenue and you multiply that times your average days to hire, and then you're getting to your cost of vacancy or your potential revenue loss. So for sake of kind of understanding and kind of doing some quick math, we decided to show you guys an example, taking an account management role, which is a pretty common position, at least for us nationwide for commercial maintenance landscape companies. It's a pretty common role here. So let's take a $20 million company. Okay. We're going to take the national average, which is 36 days time to fill. And then we're going to divide that by 150 employees. Let's say that this organization is employing. So let's take this, let's do the steps. So step 1, $20 million company, divide that by 150 employees. And you're going to land at your average employee revenue of 133,000 per employee. Then you're going to take that 133,000 in annual revenue, divide that by 261 working days to get our daily average employee revenue of $510.85. You take that 510, you multiply that times the national average, which is 36 days, and you're at 18,390 as your cost of vacancy or potential revenue loss. So that account manager position could be costing you 510 a day, and that's essentially 18,036 days. Something to think about for your organization as you start to strategize for your needs, your recruitment needs, what the cost is associated to it, right? And why that can tie into, what, again, tying back into the one of the takeaways today in terms of time. But if the longer it's taken, this is 36 days. Look, in our experience, average is 45 to 60 days, and sometimes it could be greater. Again, why that's important is because if you take this metric, the longer it takes, the more it could be costing you. So really want to emphasize this metric here for something that you want to potentially communicate to your internal teams. Do your hiring managers know this metric? If a lot of you are talent acquisition managers, internal or external, do your hiring managers, those that are building their teams, do they understand this metric?